Welcome back to the Cooperative Extension Research Garden here in Polk County, where we do a lot of trials for all kinds of different vegetables and some fruits as well. And we've done a lot this year, and you've seen some of our videos throughout the year about planting and how we get rid of weeds and things like that. And we're at the point now where we're harvesting a lot of things. And so I just thought I'd show you a little bit about what we're getting. One of the first thing is a cucumber. It's a greenhouse cucumber. An Aggie is the name of it. And it's super long. It grows on a trellis, and it looks really pretty. You can grow it in the garden, even though it is a greenhouse cucumber. But it's nice and sweet, and it has a really small seed cavity. So even the large ones, you know, things this size are still really edible. So don't throw them out. You know, like a lot of times you get big slicer cucumbers, you throw them out if they got that big because the seeds are too big, but these are not. The other variety we're growing is called Little Leaf Hybrid. It's a pickling cucumber. You know, typical pickling cucumber. The leaves are smaller than your typical cucumber plant, which allows you to see the fruit better, or the vegetable. So it's actually quite good, very tasty. Tastes like a traditional pickler. Just gives you that benefit of being able to see the cucumber a whole lot easier to pick. Peppers are coming in. As you can see, we've got wonderful bell peppers. This is called Red Knight, which is a bacterial spot resistant variety, which is what you want to look for. Kind of a King Arthur type, if you're familiar with King Arthur. It's just an approved variety of that. We've grown it for several years in our trials, and it always does a great job. And we've got all kinds of tomatoes. I'll just show you the tomatoes. You know, lots of tomatoes. So we've got 3 different varieties. We've got hybrid tomatoes. We've got one called ESTEVA, which is an indeterminate firm tomato, very good. And we've got one called BHN 1021, which is a really great kind of semi-determinate variety. Which is shorter but has a great bunch of tomatoes. And we'll show you those here in a little bit, as well as Muscovitch, which is a heirloom variety. And the only reason we have it is because it was on sale this year, so we got it very inexpensively. But they've been very tasty. The difference is they're very soft compared to your hybrid tomatoes, so you know, have a hard time putting them into a basket and carrying them home without squishing them. But if you've got it right in the backyard, it's not a bad variety to do. So. All right, I told you I'd show you the tomatoes, and this year we've grown 3 different varieties. And this first one you're looking at is BHN 1021. Which is a hybrid variety. It's a semi-determinate, which means it gets a little taller than some determinants, and it ripens over a longer period of time. But they have lots of clusters of tomatoes, as you can see here, and they do get quite large. It's more of a beefsteak type tomato. But as you can see, it's barely to the top of our wire here in mid to late July. So it's a really great one. It's easily manageable, and the tomato is a little bit sweeter and less acidic than some of the others. This variety you're looking at is called ESTEVA. It's an indeterminate, and as you can tell, it's very tall. It goes up, you know, 6-7 feet, and it will continue to grow throughout the entire season and put out tomatoes. But I love this tomato because it does taste good, and the clusters on these things are beautiful. They cluster up almost like grape tomatoes, but they're large and have a really good kind of old-fashioned taste, a little acidic to it. So if you like a little bit more of a acidic tomato, it's a great one. It's a good one for canning. Produces lots of poundage per plant. You can probably get, you know, 30 pounds or so or more per plant on these. All right, the one you're looking at here is called Muscovitch. It's an heirloom variety. It's one that we had not trialed before, and the only reason we trialed it was because it was, you know, very inexpensive seed, so we figured we'd fill in the garden with it. And it's done well. The tomatoes have been very good. They're a little acidic, but they are actually quite soft. So if you like a very soft tomato, this is a good one for you. But as you can see, compared to the hybrid varieties, these are quite messy. If you look at them, they just look a lot messier. They do have a lot more disease problems than do the hybrids. They don't have any resistance to those types of things. As well as they're a very tall and lanky tomato with a thin stem, so they tend to need a lot more trellising than your typical hybrid tomato.